ordinance and just see before I would make a decision. I'm not like Nancy Pelosi. I actually like to read everything before I vote on it. Thank
Great.
you.
Mr. Escobar?
Well, my past experience was with one of my chairmen would call these sort of amendments warm and fuzzies. And, after you read it, it sounds harmless. So, like Ms. Broyle said, it's all in the nature of how it's written, and that there's no underlying current that's behind it. So I would definitely, as long as it's a warm and fuzzy, I'd probably support it.
Great. Mr. Roybal?
So Mr. Escobar doesn't have the corner on short and sweet. I'm a co-sponsor of it, so yes, I support it.
Great. Dr. Rennie?
The resolution is pretty straightforward and very simple, and it has no attachments to any organizations. It's no longer related to the group Compassionate Cheyenne. Matter of fact, it's my understanding, withdrew their support of it when they were asked to not have any mention to Compassionate Cheyenne or compassionate cities in general. So it's pretty straightforward. It just says that we're going to be a caring and compassionate city, and I can't see a fault in that. So I will intend to vote for it.
Great. All right. Well, seeing no more questions, I will give you all a couple minutes of closing. So I'm not sure where we are. I think we're Mr. Escobar again. We'll just go with that if you'd like to give a 2-minute closing.
Well, maybe just a little follow-up on the end. It's when you talk about being a compassionate city and working on the railroad, it seemed like Cheyenne wasn't very compassionate to the homeless. I couldn't understand how a city like Cheyenne could allow people that didn't have a place to spend the night in sub-zero temperatures and just let them stay in a bridge. Especially we had a veteran that was double amputee, so he's in his wheelchair, and he just stayed out there pretty much in the railroad parking lot the whole time. Another one of my fellow workers drove halfway home with one of them in the back of his truck. So that homeless issue's, I think, something that if I'm on the council, I would probably really try to do something more about. I've always thought of myself as a very caring and compassionate person. I'm not running for office for any preordained agenda other than to try and bring common sense and reason and work with my fellow councilmen and councilwomen, Madam Mayor, and the people of the city of Cheyenne to see that we move this city forward. I think I have a lot of bright ideas, and I can, especially dealing with quality of life issues and bring in good paying jobs, and maybe get that third daughter of mine back to Cheyenne. If there's an ordained agenda. She's working in the library down in Boulder, so I think she loves her job down there. So thank you for having me.
Mr. Roybal?
I just want to start with saying what I said in the beginning is I really enjoyed the job. I enjoy the community input. I enjoy the access that both I have and both the community has to me. The community involvement, I attend probably at least 2 events a week, sometimes more, sometimes less. I remember standing there a couple weeks ago at 5:30 in the morning on the corner of 28th and Cary when the marathon started, thinking, you can't pay me to do this, and here I'm doing it for free. So I feel that I'm highly accessible. I have people stop me in the street, and when they call me Mr. Roybal, I'll always look to see if my dad's behind me, because I feel like I'm Scott. I should be that with with anybody I'm speaking with because we're on the same level. I guess you know my work, you know my work ethic, and I'd just like to ask for your vote on November 6th. Thank you.
Dr. Rennie?
Well, again, I want to thank the League of Women Voters for this opportunity, and it's been a good discussion. I appreciate hearing the thoughts of the other people running. And to echo what Mr. Roybal says, I firmly believe, I think I've represented my ward well. I think I always kind of bring an even-toned demeanor and common sense to my role on the council. And so I would like to continue in the job. And as I said in my opening remarks, to me the most important thing is we keep moving forward, we keep improving quality of life, we keep making Cheyenne a more attractive place for people to want to move to and for businesses to want to move to. I've said through the years that Leeds does a great job of getting people here to look at Cheyenne, and a lot of that's because of our transportation that we have and the low tax structure that we have. But then when they get here, they're not always overwhelmed or they're not impressed with the quality of life here. And so we've oftentimes lost businesses to areas of Colorado that were deemed, even though they had higher taxes, were deemed a more pleasant or desirable place to live. So, I've always maintained we are the northern anchor of the Front Range, and we need to compete with those cities south of us if we're going to compete for newer and better jobs. So that's my vision, and I would hope that the people of Ward 2 would agree with me and reelect me. Thank you.
And Ms. Broyles?
It was an honor and a privilege to serve the citizens of Cheyenne for 10 years on the city council. And I did not run the last election, decided to take a break as my husband was entering retirement at that time. Not sure what life was going to look like. Decided to just take a break. And I have truly missed this type of service over the last 3 years. I love bringing social work perspective and training from a micro level to a macro level and being able to work on some projects with an entire community, because that's what it takes to get things accomplished. It takes 6 votes on the dais to get anything passed, and one must be able to work with other people in order to make that happen. People First has been my campaign motto, which is an acronym for public safety, economic development, opioid addiction, public and private partnerships, life quality projects, entrepreneurships, fiscal accountability, internet access and speed, recreational opportunities, suicide prevention, and transportation modes. So those are all very important to me as projects and things that I think would enhance our community by working together with other representatives of the community as well. I had the privilege, we talk about quality of life, of helping with the Botanic Gardens and the amphitheater and the housing out at Saddle Ridge. To think that I was able to sit here and have a part in that, and then to go walk that area this time and see all the beautiful houses and meet the people that live in them, you get inspired by that, and it just makes you want to keep doing more. When you see, Cheyenne is a great place to live. We are one of the best kept secrets in the nation, and we continue to improve. And this council has done many good things, and over the past few years, I want to get on board and to continue that movement forward if I receive your vote on November 6th. Thank you.
Great. And thank you all to all the candidates for coming. Just a reminder that this forum was recorded by Spectrum and will be posted on the League's YouTube page. Links will also be sent to the candidates, posted on the League of Women Voters Facebook page, and will be sent to people who do send requests to CheyenneLWV@gmail.com. Our next forum is going to be for Laramie County School District 1 Board of Trustees candidates, which will be held in Story Gym. And early voting continues in the county building atrium. You can get a paper absentee ballot from the county clerk's office. Election day is November 6th, so be sure to check with the county clerk's office for locations of vote centers. And the Wyoming Tribune-Eagle also has a bunch of free election content on our website, candidate bios, forum stories, and it is all free. So if you go under the election subhead on our homepage at www.wyomingnews.com, you can find all that there. Thanks again, folks, for coming, and have a good rest of your evening.
Do we get a follow-up?
Oh, I'm sorry.
I probably
What about us
threw
down
for-
here? Can I hear your thoughts on sign codes? My question didn't make it.
Sorry, Richard. I didn't even know what that meant.